Thanks for coming on to Underground Archives, mate. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, pleasure to be here, thank you.
We'll just start off with a bit about you. How did you first get into DJing and producing?
I guess just like everyone that's sort of into the same sort of style of music, it's just being into music and then just sort of naturally progressing into electronic music. Just from sort of growing up with it in my family, and like my earliest memories are sort of dancing about with my dad and stuff, and and then I mean really as I got older, my older brother, who's like a bit older than me, he was in the club scene in Glasgow through the 90s.
Right.
Was associated with a night called Cool that did stuff through in the Arches and Sub Club and stuff, so he had turntables and loads of records and stuff. He didn't really DJ as much, but I think everyone just sort of had that sort of equipment and stuff. He used to have loads of flyers and posters and stuff that I would steal and put up on my wall. I didn't even know what they were, but I would put them all up on my wall. So I've kind of been surrounded by that side of it, like the aesthetic as well, which I kind of liked. And I just go in and rifle through his records and stuff, not know what I was doing with them, leave them lying out all over the place. Like, so
You must have been fuming.
Aye, so bad etiquette. And yeah, and just hanging about with your pals and listening to music. And me and my friend Chris, who started Animal Farm with me back in the day, we got a set of decks and just playing in the house, and we were back and stuff, and then started going to clubs, and we were like, we want to do that.
Aye.
And then just starting off, and we started off in a bar in the West End. It's not there anymore, called the Holt Bar, and our friend worked there. And he wanted to do a cocktail night, and he was like, do you want to come down and play tunes at it? So we were like, yeah, cool. And that was the first foray into playing out, and just in front of like 20 of our pals in a bar in the West End. We were playing all sorts of stuff. Like my mate would play drum and bass, and then I'd go on and play like hard techno.
That's a cocktail bar.
And my mate's making cocktails on the side in this like pure dingy West End bar. It was a sort of bizarre setup. You don't realise at the time. It was it was good fun. And then we met a guy called Charles Turtle, who then obviously joined on Animal Farm. He was doing nights at the Sound House with some friends, and but at this point we'd moved into a bar in town called Block, which is still about, still really associated with like sort of music scene and stuff like that as well. And the guys in there gave us a wee break to do like weekly slots and stuff. Nice. And then we sort of met various other people from doing that, and we moved to the Sound House. And then it sort of picked up a bit more from there as well. So the producing thing and stuff, I just kind of got into just because you kind of feel like you need to do it and all that. And it's a bit of a love-hate thing for me at the moment, producing, because I don't really get much time to do it anymore.
Especially if you've got kids and that as well.
Yeah. Just you get other things in your life sort of take over and stuff like that. I've got a bit of time after this event next week. I don't really have anything until August. So my plan over the summer is to
get right in there.
Try and get back into producing music and stuff like that as well. So
is it Ableton that you use, or?
I use Ableton mainly, nice. And just like various plugins and stuff, like no hardware. Just again, it's just having to spend the time learning hardware. In the box is fine. I mean, so many people tell you that you don't need all these amazing plugins and outboard equipment and stuff like that if you just take the time to learn the Ableton stuff. And obviously spent a lot of time making the in the box stuff a lot better. So yeah, and I actually started. We've got an artist on the label called Case, who's brilliant producer, really good one. So he's got releasing the label. I actually sort of sat down with him just to sort of get a bit of a refresher and do some stuff. So hopefully we'll get back in the studio and do something. He moves from Edinburgh, but he's moved to Glasgow now. So hopefully we'll get another couple of sessions and stuff, and just try to rekindle my love of making music, because it can be a bit.
But when you see other people's kind of techniques as well, it resparks a bit of creativity. Get back into it and try new things.
Yeah, we had one session, and he showed me some things, the way he made tracks and stuff, and it was sort of eye opening. That way you get a bit of inspiration. You go back and sit and fiddle about with things, new plugins or like new resequencer things that you had and stuff as well, which were quite interesting that I'd never, you wouldn't know of unless you were sort of delving into it and stuff. So yeah, it just gives you a wee bit more inspiration to sort of pick things back up. So, and as I do sit, like when I sit, I'll just lose yourself for like an hour or two, and you realise I was like, shit, I need to go to bed.
Yeah, it's easily done, isn't it?
Aye, so, and then I've got a studio in the city centre. So it's me just sort of DJ set up, and then I've got a space for production and stuff like that as well. So it's good. It's handy. It's handy just to sort of, you go in there, and that's time just disappears. So you just get locked into that. So yeah, that's the plan. Nice. We'll see if that actually happens.
So obviously you've been quite a key figure in the techno scene over the past 20 years. You've been putting events on now.
20 years.
How would you say, since you started, How would you say it's evolved since then? What's changed?
It's hard to say, really. I mean, it's still, I think things are really different now. I mean, I think everyone knows the scene in Glasgow just now. It's a bit up and down. Personally, I feel like it's in a bit of a rut again. But, I mean, it's got to do with everything else that's going on in the world and stuff like that. Going out and clubbing and stuff seems to be a bit of a luxury these days. People aren't buying tickets, which is difficult for promoters, and I think everyone's feeling it. What I found in the past was things would be really good for a while, and then start of the year would maybe be a bit slow. Second half of the year would pick up. Summers in Glasgow always fine. We're always, students go away, people go on holiday, they can go to festivals and stuff like that abroad. They had better options and stuff. And then the second half of the year was always really good, but it's not kind of picking back up into that ebb and flow sort of way. It still seems to be sort of down, and unfortunately it's just the kind of way you need to deal with it. I mean, musical thing, side of music has changed and stuff as well. I think COVID, this is something you go on about quite a lot. COVID sort of changed the attitudes to music, people's going out habits, what they expect from a club night, and a lot of people I don't think had been to a club night. It's something that kind of struck me as being maybe a little bit older in the scene now and stuff like that, and a lot of younger folk coming through. They'd never experienced a warm-up and stuff. They'd never, they want to have the instant gratification of just like heavy from the start.
Because they turned 18 during COVID basically, so they never got to see what it was like before. I mean, it affected so many things in life and stuff, and in the club scene, I think that has been really detrimental and stuff, and people maybe not wanting to go down at the start of a night and experience what it's like to have that build-up, I mean, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about DJing is opening the nights. I mean, I've done it for the majority of our events, is opening and spending the time building the vibe and stuff like that. And when you play harder stuff, or you did no warm up kind of stuff, you didn't do anything like that. I mean, anyone can go in and bang it from the start. I mean, it's not hard. You can kill the night as well. People can tire quicker if you don't build it up and give them something to wait for. Then
that's the thing as well. People complain about the opening hours here, licensing here, and stuff like that. But see, anytime. The sub club have obviously got the 4 a.m. And between 3 and 4, people starts to die off. Yeah. I mean, that's just natural stuff as well. But any time the sub club have got a 5 a.m, which they have in December, it tails off even more. So it's like, it's trying to get people to change their mentality of going out and stuff, and it's just hard just now if everyone's feeling sort of pinched with it and all that. And, but we push ahead. This is a passion for me. This is why I'm still doing it. Because financially it can be a
definitely
a nightmare.
Especially like when you're saying how hard it is. When you look at your recent kind of bookings like Oscar Malero, Laura Croft, Maron, it's really big names. And
exactly.
So you're still pushing ahead and still going.
Yeah, totally. Man. I mean, it's people we want to see as well, and people we want to show that. This is what represents Animal Farm, what represents me, represents the sound, the residents and stuff as well. And it's a competitive scene in Glasgow and stuff, and because we've been doing it so long, I feel like we need to keep ourselves up there and stuff as well. And but it's hard sometimes, and sometimes I need to kind of tell myself, you don't need to keep pushing so hard. You try and take a step back and put local stuff on, and we've always done that. We've always pushed the local side, we've always pushed the residents and stuff as well, because to be honest, sometimes when we've done it, people have said you were better than I hate when people say that, because like, paid this guy loads of money to it. It's important to support the local scene and stuff like that, because that's what we were small DJs. I was a small DJ and stuff, and trying to find ways into the scene. It's hard. I think it's harder now as well. Because what I'd say to people is, when they ask for gigs and stuff, I'm just like, do it yourself. Start your own thing. It's the best way to do it. Is to get into the scene. Is to make your own thing.
Make it happen for yourself.
Exactly. As and then other people will see you and be like, oh, he's good. We'll bring you on and stuff. And that's what we do. When I see other people doing stuff, it's like, oh, you're doing something that sort of matches what we're doing. So let's hook up and do stuff like that as well. And I've got a good sort of pool of residents at the moment as well. That are working and who are part of the team in the sort of
background
and all that, which totally helps me, just because in terms of time and even things like second guessing myself with how to run the events.
It's always good to get a second opinion as well.
Definitely. So
so do you still find, like, even now you've been running events for 20 years, do you still get stressed before events and they run up to them?
Totally. Massively so. Again, especially because of the way the ticket sales are and stuff. It's what we tend to find is that it's the week of, and then mainly the day of the event when the ticket sales start to go up. So if you you've got a big guest and stuff, and you're sitting waiting, you know, especially knowing how much things cost in the background, because that's the thing, a lot of people don't realise how all the costs that mount up, and especially as costs are rising. You know, our ticket prices aren't really going up because we have to try and balance it of like, you know, it's a stressful time, like trying to sort of like pushing things out there, trying to sell the event, you know, when you've really got a limited budget to do that sort of thing. Because when you start paying for things on things like Instagram and all that, you feel like you have to keep doing it, and the algorithm makes you post more like that, or sort of pay for it more. It can be stressful. And on the other hand, though, when things are going well, it's the easiest thing. Feeling. It's just really, you know, you get confident with it and all that. But then again, when the sales pick up, which they always tend to do to an extent on the week of the day of the event, then you get a bit like, I can go and enjoy my night, and then but now see again, it's probably for the experience of doing it. You know, when things aren't working out, I bet I can now just be like, do you know what? That's fine. You know, I can take the hit. Sometimes it's, you know, you have to balance in that, the finances and stuff like that. But it's never really been about the money. You know, I hate to sound really cliche like that, but I mean, when I lose money and stuff, it's a bit of a nightmare, and it's great when you make money. But you know, I still love putting events on. I still love DJing and stuff and all that, and it's still and being part of something, like, because that's what it always felt like. I was part of a bigger thing. Especially in Glasgow as well, because there's been such big events, and the people who are above me, like the slam guys and all that as well, who, you know, who I work for and stuff. So they, you know, they're a big sort of. I still look up to them, and you know, and what they did and all
still
that.
Still smashing it,
yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, loads of stuff happening, and you know, they're just iconic, the pair of them and stuff like that. And it's great to work with them, and you know, considering them friends and stuff as well. So, but yeah, so you know. You could just it shows you that people like that can still do it as well. So anyone can do it, really. You just need to have a bit.
You have the drive for it and just keep going for it.
Exactly.
Definitely. If you're doing it for all the right reasons as well, it will come more natural.
Yeah, I mean, I guess most people do end up doing it for the right reasons and stuff. But I think you can see the ones that sort of do a few parties and then they sort of realise that sometimes they have their first party is always really good. Your second part is your test. You know, if you do it as well as your first one, then you're onto a good thing, you know, and it's just keeping the momentum up from that. But you tend to find a lot of people just end up bombing straight away because they jump in too heavy with it as well. And it's, you know, I hate to see people losing money or, you know, not working out for them and stuff, because, you know, again, it helps Glasgow.
I definitely.
It puts Glasgow in the scene, and we're considered to have like a really good music scene and stuff, but so it's good to still be a part of it. Yeah.
Well, when you look at some of the events you put on over the years, like Robert Hood, Mark Broom, Marshall Demon, some huge names, is there a standout for you that you always think, well, what a night? Or
yeah, it's hard to pick out. Like, there's been so many, but I always think the first event we did in the sub club with Ben Clock, that was like, because it was the sub club, that was the aim, was to get to the sub club, and we got there quite quickly. And our first gig was a Monday night between Christmas and New Year, which we still keep doing because we consider that our birthday. It was Ben Clock. It was the first time he played in Scotland, and we had like sold out sub club. You know, that's the goal. It's just to do the sub club, to sell it out. And that was just like the best thing ever. I think the next night we did was probably one of the worst ones we did as well. So it's that whole second party thing. But again, we booked someone that was maybe a little bit too unknown. But yeah, that was the one we saw, like, right, that's where we need to keep, that's where we want to be at and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, we've had loads of like sellout sub clubs, and we've had some really empty sub clubs sometimes. So, but yeah, I mean, there's been like the blackout events we did as well, when we sort of tried to change up, get out of the club sort of thing, when we did it at the Glue Factory, just a sort of warehouse space in the sort of north end of the city centre. And yeah, that was cool. It was something different, you know. And again, it was to try and step out of the club and get people out and sort of doing something a bit different. Because, you know, again, the licensing laws in Glasgow, we ran it through the day. The Glue Factory was only on until like 11 or something like that. And then we had like an after party at a venue just round the corner. But yeah, it's just getting people out early. You know, again, we can't go out between 3 till 7 in the morning. Well, let's do it the other way. But it's a hard one. It's a hard sell. And it was a bit at work. The first one we did was really good. We had good acts. We had Dax J, Abdullah Rashim, Stephanie Sykes, I think, at that first one as well. I can't remember. But yeah, just doing different stuff is good, man. It's good. Like, I mean, I'm lucky we do the sub club, it's great and all that. But when we get to do other different things as well, which is something we don't do as much. I'd love to bring that back, but the Glue Factory unfortunately don't do events there anymore. SWG3 is overdone, I think, as well. It's not really for the kind of music we are doing and stuff as well. But we will have done stuff there. I wish we were more like Manchester. They seem to have a bit more disused warehouse spaces and that as well, and a bit more sort of leniency when it comes to like opening hours and stuff. It's just, in the whole time I've been in Glasgow, like the licensing laws have never changed. I think they were worse before I was doing it. Like even in the 90s it was a bit tighter. Okay, the sub club's got an extra hour now, but it's taken years for that to even come about. But I always wonder if we were given say 6-7 a.m. licenses, would it make a difference? Would people be out till that time in the morning, or
would people come over here to go to events like we go to other places? You just don't know.
Exactly. I mean, I just think if you need to try these things to see if that kind of thing can happen, because they want tourism in the city centre, and the city centre's just a bit of a shithole, to be honest, these days. It's and sometimes it can be, like you said, it's totally dead, and but then it's bigger problems that are probably beyond me and stuff like that. I mean, I can just shout for having longer club hours, like it's going to make a difference. But maybe it will, maybe at some time. I'd like to think it would. I'd like to think I'd still be there to see it, but maybe one day we'll be different. We'll get I think London's like that's like 6-7 in the morning and stuff. I mean, that's enough, Glasgow's not got a big clubbing population, so I think I suppose what's there kind of works for the moment, but if we had longer open hours, would it change?
Try to expand it.
Yeah, would things change? And I think that's what needs. Change always helps. So.
Definitely. You played Hall last year as well. How did that go?
It was good. Quite nerve-wracking.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I went over with a few folk from Animal Farm as well.
Aye.
And you go to Berlin, you just get on it.
Yeah.
Which we did the night before. So we went to Trezor the night before. So it was a bit rough. I can see in the video my face is still a bit red. But it was good. It worked out really well, actually. It was cool. And really enjoyed it and stuff. It was a bit nerve-wracking because the camera's right there and it's just a wall in front of you. And
the publicity they've got as well. It's not just a video. It's kind of...
Well, that's it. You think behind the camera there's thousands of people watching it and then thousands more that are going to be watching it afterwards. So it's a little bit daunting, but it was cool. It was a nice experience.
Nice.
Good to go to Berlin. That was actually the last time and the first time I had been there for quite a while. So it was good. It's good to be back. Berlin's a cool place, and you just wandering about and just we went to RSO after it for Freddie K.
Nice.
And we were there for a good few hours.
All night long, or?
He did an all night long, yeah.
Nice.
I don't think we lasted all night long, unfortunately, because it was a bit of a heavy one. But it was good. And there was a couple of the guys' first time in Berlin as well. So
nice,
it's got to show them about and stuff. And we met some folk over there that we know and stuff as well. So it was cool.
I think a lot of people would like to know, how does a horse set come about? Do they come to you, or? I
actually contacted them.
Did
because I was like, well, I'm actually in the area. Is there space kind of thing. I'm not sure how it works elsewhere, but that's how it worked for me and stuff.
Nice.
So I had a contact for one of the producers or people that run it. I just dropped him an email and just said I was there, and they got back to me saying we've got space. So
nice,
I was maybe lucky, I suppose, and obviously sent them some stuff about like who I am and what I've done and stuff like that, just as a bit of a backup and stuff.
A bucket list moment as well for any DJ, isn't it, to play a horse?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good thing to sort of show off what you can do and stuff like that, and the audience that they have is obviously massive and stuff as well. So yeah, it's definitely something to do.
So you've got an all night long coming up at Sub Club next week.
Yes.
What can we expect from you?
Lots of techno, ideally. I've been, as I was saying before we started, I've been sitting going through loads and loads of music for it. I really want to make it a proper journey. Like I said, I love doing warm ups. I love spending the time over like two hours, like going up. I can batter it out for 2 hours easy enough. That's the easy part. Making like doing that. But I really want to spend the time sort of creating a nice sort of peak. So I've been spending more time sort of going through a bit more ambient, slower stuff, some more dub techno, which I absolutely love. Listen to dub techno probably more than anything else. So yeah, just been going through loads of music as much as I can and having a wee practice. Yeah. I mean, it'll be good to once I actually get to pick it up and then the sort of final mid 2 hours, and so that's what I'm sort of splitting it up into each hour and got a playlist for each hour and just putting stuff in at the moment, and then I'll go through and try. I'll probably plan the start a bit more, like I said, the middle, but I can just sort of feel what I need to play, and I know my music enough and all that. But it's the deeper stuff that can sometimes think that takes a bit more thought. try not to plan things too much. Try and play a bit more play it off the cuff, because things change, and then you could play some tracks and you're like, well, I've actually running out of stuff. So you have, having enough sort of in the bank to make it work. So yeah, just a lot of planning for this one and stuff. And I said I've played, I think it was 3 hours is the longest sort of set I've done in the sub club when I had a bit of time. So having 5, just that extra couple of hours, I can really stretch it out and dive into stuff, because there've been a lot of stuff that I don't play, I'll get to play it and this kind of thing as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Is this your first all night long in Sudbury now?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, generally we know we've always got a guest, just because we feel that the kind of club deserves that sort of thing. We should be putting a guest on and stuff as well. But yeah, it was something, when we've, I think actually me and Rosie, Aisha, did a all night long. We had Clara QV and she never turned up. Flights or something. We've had a couple of issues with that, and then we just played the whole night, or most of the night. I think we had another act playing as well. But yeah, this is the first time I'll be on my own sort of thing. So yeah, it'd be good.
Do you have any kind of weird routine or ritual you do before a long set like that?
Try not to drink any water or anything before I just don't have to run to the toilet, which will be inevitable. No, not really. No, I'll just probably just take it easy. We'll probably go out for some food beforehand and just nice and chilled before it. No real routine. Like I said, most of the time I'm spending just going through music and stuff as well. So I think by the time I'm done, I'll not want to listen to anything for a couple of days, just to try and to decompress from it. So, but yeah, no, nothing too much. Just nice and chilled.
Right, nice, mate. What's next for Animal Farm after that?
So the next event after next week is in June, and we're doing a label party, and so we'll have a couple of acts. We'll have Case is going to come and play, and Guy Pilot, who's from Dundee, he's going to come through and play for us alongside some of the residents. Unfortunately on holiday. I say unfortunately, I'm looking forward to it. So the guys will be taking the reins for that one. And the next event we'll have in August, we've not announced it yet, but we've got Blasha and Allet coming up from Manchester. This is the first time they'll have played for us as well. So, and they've played Glasgow a few times and they've got a good wee sort of crowd. And I mean, musically they totally suit what we're doing and stuff as well. So looking forward to having them in the sub club. And we've got a couple of dates. October, we're doing Halloween, and then we'll have our 21st birthday in December as well, but I'll keep them quiet for now and make it rather than announce it now. But yeah, just like I said, we've got the options to do another sort of clubs and stuff like that, but I just feel that when we sort of take a step back and just focus on the sub club, things are better, less stress, and the sub club always works for us and stuff as well, so
good,
gives me a bit of time to relax between the events as well.
So for anybody that's never seen you before, why should they come to Subby next Friday, sorry?
If you like techno, then it's definitely for you. Just I think to experience like a proper journey through a sort of sound of techno, and maybe hear some things that you weren't maybe aware of, as well as hearing the sort of energetic side of Animal Farm and myself as well. Then the sub club's perfect for it as well. Like I just like I said, some of my favourite times have been doing the warm-up and seeing the crowd build. I think the vibe's always right in there and stuff as well. The crowd are always good. They're always up for it. I'm maybe a little bit biased to think that it's the best club in Glasgow for that kind of thing as well. The sound always works. And, I know the space and the people and stuff. So, yeah, it's a good night out sort of thing. And it's hopefully relatively cheap for people. But, yeah, just to experience like a proper sort of 5-hour journey that, like I said, people want longer opening times. They want to see longer stuff that you get in places like Berlin or anywhere else in Europe. So this is a good chance to experience something like that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, Quail. Thanks very much for coming on,
Nice,
mate.
And thank you for having me. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Cheers.